Hey,
we're Potty Mouth.
And you're watching AMBY.
AMBY.
Where you can swear on YouTube.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from AMBY, and I'd like to welcome you to an interview with Potty Mouth. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
Yeah.
How are you?
Awesome. I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat. We're really glad we could make this happen.
Yeah,
So
of
thanks.
course.
Yeah.
We're of course going to kick things off by discussing your newest EP, Potty Mouth. This is awesome 90s infused, I know it was also 90s inspired pop punk
Oh, yeah.
release. I really love it. So I was just wondering, how long was that actually in the making for?
I mean, some of the songs that are on that, like Truman Show, were written right after Hellbent came out, so that song would be like 2 years old.
Okay.
But some of them were only written like a month or two before we recorded, so we have so much material that is just sort of like in the backlogs that we need to work out, and so we just decided to pick like our favorites and what we thought best represented like the transition from the last record to how we sound now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, after Hellbent came out in September 2013, we just kept writing, and we honestly probably have like 2 LPs worth of material at this point that we haven't done anything with. But
Okay.
for the EP, we knew we wanted to do an EP, and we narrowed it down to 5. And like Abby said, they all kind of represent our sound now, like the transition from Hellbent to the new EP and
Yeah.
more polished. So.
Nice. Well, I wanted to bring up Truman Show. I'm very glad you did. There's a lyric, it's kind of my favorite lyric on the entire release, and it's, "I'll wait around, but that doesn't mean that I'll do nothing. Get up off the ground, I'll show life what it's missing."
Yeah.
It's just such an optimistic lyric, especially with the way the start begins. I just love it. So where were you at when you were writing that?
That was definitely like, I had just graduated high school and I was sort of figuring out if I was going to go to college or not, and it was sort of like this hurry up and wait kind of thing where like you work on all this material and there's all this press happening and you go on tours and you sort of are like preparing for like the next big thing, but so we had like all this stuff going on from the outside, but really we're just like at home like working on new songs and stuff, and so it was like, yeah, like even though we weren't like personally, I wasn't doing much with my life beyond the band, I wasn't just gonna like sit around and do nothing. I was still at home and not like out in the world, but I still wanted to be like making material and doing something with my life.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
It's obvious that you guys like the 90s and a lot of bands from the 90s. So I was curious as to who your favorite group from that era is, or if you have like an ultimate 90s band.
I mean, maybe for me, Veruca Salt. I mean, that's definitely a very hard question to answer, but they were one of the biggest influences for that record for me, so yeah.
Yeah, you could just like look at the CD collection in our van, and
Yeah.
I think pretty much everything in there is some 90s rock CD, back when, you know, CDs were still a new thing, so all of those bands, you can go to any used CD store and like find like Juliana Hatfield, Veruca Salt, Hole, Letters to Cleo, That Dog.
Yeah.
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 I love every band or artist you just mentioned there.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
it's making me feel so warm inside. Like with Juliana Hatfield, she's been one of my heroes for forever.
Oh, yeah,
we
me
got
too.
to do a phoner with her like about.
Oh yeah, we
months
opened
back.
for her
Oh.
on just like a few dates, and it was like mind-blowing because she's definitely also like a huge influence on us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
She's incredible. Hasn't changed like a bit since the 90s. Her
Yeah.
voice is still the same. The music she's writing now is still just as good.
It's so good.
Well, one thing, I know you mentioned Veruca Salt there, and I saw this photograph where you actually got to hang out with 2 of your favorite songwriters ever.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
It was really cool because I saw them play when they did their reunion tour. I think it was last summer, and I saw them play in Boston, and I was like, this is awesome. This is probably like the closest I'm ever gonna get to them. And I actually like caught one of the roses that they threw out into the audience, and I have it in like a glass jar, and then hanging out with them, yeah, I know, I was such a nerd, but hanging out with them was like crazy. They just like walked into the studio that we were hanging out in, and I was like, this is like unreal. Like I get to like hang out with them and hear them talk about like their kids, and like I don't know, it was just really awesome.
Are there any other artists that you'd like to maybe kick it with for a day or hang out with?
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Let's see.
I mean, I've always wanted to meet Billie Joe Armstrong just because I'm like a huge Green Day fan too. But I don't know, what about you?
I don't know. It would be fun to meet Courtney Love.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
definitely.
And before I know that you had actually mentioned Hellbent, debut record. So I was wondering, since you have all this material already ready to go, when do you think you'll maybe put something together and actually release a new record?
I think the plan is to release something over the summer of 2016. So we'll see if we can stick to that timeline. I hope we do. But
Just, try to record early 2016, like February, March, something, then get it out in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely won't be as long of a gap as there was between Hellbent and the EP.
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Too long, if you ask me.
Too long, yeah.
And you guys are, of course, now touring across North America. You're in Toronto, 2-night first show at the Garrison. How have those shows been treating you? Enjoying your time on the road?
Oh, yeah. They've been amazing because we've been opening up for Screaming Females, who are just, like, an awesome band. I never get tired of watching them. And I know the shows have just been, like, really fun, and it feels really good to play good shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Screaming Females, just, they shred. Like, they're just such rippers, and it's so cool to be on the same bill as a band like that, because I think it helps put us into context a little bit more. Like, oh, yeah, like, I was talking to some guys at the bar last night in Buffalo, and they were like, we were researching you before we came out tonight because we had never heard you before, and we listened to your stuff, and we just wrote you off as a pop band, but then when we saw you tonight, you guys are, like, really, like, raw, like, grunge, rock and roll, and, you know, I'm like, that's how I think we do translate well live, but that's how I hope people see us, but I think it helps being on the same bill as Screaming Females, and they like our music too, which is cool to be, you know, with people who, there's this, like, mutual appreciation for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. Well, there's another thing here from your Twitter. It was another great photograph I came across when I was kind of seeing the Veruca Salt one. And it's where you realize they're just like Dorito flavors. Spicy sweet, nacho cheese, and cool ranch.
Yeah.
Who's who and why?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but you can even tell just by our outfits right now.
Probably.
But, like, I'm nacho cheese because I'm just, like, classic. And then Victoria's cool ranch. She always plays it cool. And Allie is spicy sweet?
Spicy sweet.
Yeah.
I think
if that indicates anything.
Embody that dichotomy.
Yeah.
Did a fan show this to you, or is this something you kind of just came across and you're like, it's us?
We were in LA and Allie saw a Cheetos, or no, it was a Doritos truck and she was just like, oh, there's your truck, because it was all orange and red. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess, because it, like, goes with my aesthetic. And then we were like, we're each a Doritos flavor, just because, like, it came up so easily.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you guys, but when we were in a gas station a few days ago, and I was, like, in the aisle with the chips, and I saw those Dorito bags perfectly lined up next to each other.
You should have taken a picture.
I know. I don't think I had my phone with me, but it was just like, Cool Ranch, nacho cheese, spicy sweet.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I always thought, I didn't even realize that nacho cheese is, like, the original flavor. I thought there was just Cheeto, or why do I keep saying Cheeto? Cheeto, Dorito, Frito. Like, I just thought that Dorito was Dorito flavor, but I guess it's nacho cheese.
I actually didn't know that. I thought it was just Dorito. Like,
yeah.
There you go.
So that's your hot
there
tip
you
for
go,
today.
guys. You learned something. Well, something I really wanted to ask you guys, because I found it pretty intriguing, is the fact that you're, of course, called Potty Mouth. Which one of you has the worst potty mouth?
I think we all swear a lot. Maybe you do.
I swear.
From time to
fair
time.
amount.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's, the name is less about, it's less of a story about one of us and more of just, like, our name that we chose, and it stuck. But, I think I have a potty mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I say a bad word in public, I'll say, oh, excuse my potty mouth. And,
really? I didn't know that.
You know, just to be funny, but, like, I was in a coffee shop in Western Mass where we're from, and I was getting really riled up about something, and I was swearing a lot, and this it was a very family-friendly coffee shop, and this dad in the coffee shop came up to me, and he's like, excuse me, there are children around. and
Whoa.
I felt kind of bad, but also just like not that bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're in public, you know, you're just gonna hear some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you kind of wanted to go with the Potty Mouth and just tell them to fuck
Yeah.
off.
Like, don't you know what band I'm in?
You can't say that on here, can you?
Yeah, it's YouTube. You can say whatever you
Oh,
want.
okay.
I was gonna say it's been like one swear
Fuck.
word. Yeah. Woo. Well, just to wrap everything up with you guys today, I wanted to say for all your fans who are gonna be viewing our interview, is there anything you want to say to them?
Fuck.
Noise, mate. Noise. We've adopted a baby surfer accent on the road where we're like,
Yeah.
noise, mate.
It's like our new
noise."
thing that we're fixated on.
Okay.
Because when you're in the van, you have to have some way to entertain yourself.
Yeah,
so.
to get through those really long drives. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps everything up. I just want to say thank you very much for your time today. We're really glad we could make this happen. So
Yeah.
thank you.
for having
Thank you,
us.
Our pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you. Remember, everyone viewing, you can visit us at amusicblog.com for exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more with your favorite bands. See you next time.